अस्सलाम वालेकुम फ्रेंड्स, कैसे हैं आप सब लोग। आई होप आप सब लोग बिल्कुल ठीक है। सो वेलकम टू वीडियो बायोशूर। अब हम अपनी जो स्टडीज़ है उनको कंटिन्यू करते हैं। हम लोग पढ़ रहे हैं BIF101 इंट्रोडक्शन टू बायोइन्फॉर्मेटिक्स और इसमें लेसन नंबर 24 तक हमारा कंप्लीट हो गया। अब इस वीडियो में हम नेक्स्ट 3 टॉपिक्स करेंगे, मतलब कि 25, 26 एंड 27। तो हमारा सेशन हो गया एक्सपायर। अब करते हैं इसको वापस से लॉगिन। ठीक है, ये हमारा एलएमएस आ गया। हम डालेंगे अपना वीडियो आईडी और पासवर्ड। ठीक है, ओके, अब हो गया डन। हमारे पास आ गया हमारा BIF101। ठीक है, तो टॉपिक नंबर 25 पर है हम लोगों ने ये कंप्लीट करना है टॉपिक। ठीक है,
Dear students, in this module,
देखिए हमारे टॉपिक नंबर 25 का बैकग्राउंड, इसका टॉपिक है बैकग्राउंड ऑफ बायोइन्फॉर्मेटिक्स। तो अब हम लोग इसकी वीडियो को सुन लेंगे, उसके बाद फिर अगला इसका स्टेप करेंगे। ठीक है, तो अच्छे से इसको सुन लेते हैं। बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम।
I'm going to introduce to you the very exciting area of bioinformatics, as well as provide some background to it. Bioinformatics is a relatively new development in the science as compared to physics, chemistry, mathematics, and biology. It is at the intersection of several of these sciences that bioinformatics is born. The need for bioinformatics has arisen from the modern biology. The Human Genome Project and several other similar projects have led us to realize that there are thousands of genes within the human cell. More so, if you look at these genes, then they have these products after their transcription at the transcriptome level. Moreover, these transcription products translate into proteins. At the protein level, there are hundreds of thousands of proteins as well. So there is this explosion of information from the genome level to the protein level. Additionally, if you look closely, then there are several organelles within a cell, and the cell itself has certain properties. Several of these cells, they come together to form a tissue, and the overall properties of the tissue are totally different. So given this bewildering complexity of information, how does one go about it? And modern day biology continues to produce data every day at a rapid pace, and therefore the need for bioinformatics. The name bioinformatics is simple to understand. Bio for being biology, and informatics for the information processing that we perform on the biological data. So therefore, bioinformatics is a discipline which pertains to the information processing of data that is coming out from biological experiments. If you look at the experimental protocols that are available in the biological wet labs, then you will see that a lot of new instruments are making their way. For instance, the next generation sequencers, the protein structure elicitation through nuclear magnetic resonance spectroscopy, as well as high resolution mass spectrometry. So given these next generation equipments, these instruments, the data that is produced is absolutely huge. Now, towards storing this data, towards processing this data, and then later towards analyzing and understanding this data, you need fast computers. You need accompanying algorithms. You need the tools and techniques to mine this data and understand the output better. So, in other words, biology has been digitalized. You have the data that comes to you in the form of images, in the form of text, in the form of numbers, and we know it well that this kind of information can be dealt by a computer very nicely. The human memory is limited in storing this information, but the computer is infinitely capable of recalling the information that is stored in it. And we can leverage this towards bioinformatics. Another important point to note in the background to bioinformatics is that the data which is already there is simply not the problem. The problem arises when this data is expanding at a very fast rate. Call it an exponential rate. The databases with sequences, with genes, with proteins, with protein structures are simply exploding with the new reports. So the data that you already had was to be processed, but what will happen after 5 years when your data will simply be several times of what it is today? So you need to develop software in order to process this data and better understand the meaning that is hidden within these experimental data sets. So in conclusion, as I just mentioned, that the human mind is limited in its ability to recall data, but the computers that are now available with us can store terabytes of data and recall it at the command of our finger. So using this capability of the computers, we can understand the biological information in a much better way. More so, once we recall this information, we can analyze this towards understanding the biology that is underlying all of this data, the disease that is given rise to, and possibly the drug and therapeutic responses as well.
सो फ्रेंड्स, हमारी ये जो हमारे लेक्चर की वीडियो कंप्लीट हो गई है, हम चलते हैं अपनी रीडिंग की तरफ. रीडिंग हमारे पास में है, उसमें हमारे पास पीपीटीज भी हैं और बाकी थोड़े बहुत यहाँ पर हैंडआउट्स भी हैं. ठीक है, उनको पढ़ लेते हैं. बैकग्राउंड: द टर्म बायोइन्फॉर्मेटिक्स वाज फर्स्ट introduced in 1990s. Originally it dealt with the management and analysis of the data pertaining to DNA, RNA and protein sequences. As the biological data is being produced at an unexpected and unprecedented rate, its management and interpretation invariably requires bioinformatics. Bioinformatics is an interdisciplinary science at the crossroads of biology. At the crossroads of biology. ठीक है, मैथमेटिक्स, कंप्यूटर साइंस, केमिस्ट्री एंड फिजिक्स. With the digitalization of the biological information, doors have been wide opened towards the analysis of this information using computer algorithms and software. ठीक है. Now we know well that the human genome has over 25,000 genes, and these genes code for thousands of different proteins which perform day-to-day functions in the living cell. Furthermore, these proteins may take on various post-translational modifications. ठीक है, various post-translational modifications, leading to a very large number of functionally unique molecules. This presents us with a huge challenge in the identification of genes and proteins ठीक है, एक्सपेरिमेंट्स इन बायोलॉजी, इसमें हमारे पास में आ जाता है विद द एडवांसमेंट्स इन एक्सपेरिमेंटल प्रोटोकॉल्स नाउ वी हैव सेवरल नेक्स्ट जनरेशन instruments and techniques available for obtaining digitalized biological information on genes and proteins, etc. These instruments include new generation sequencers, NGS for whole genome sequencing, high resolution mass spectrometry for whole proteome profiling and profiling, nuclear magnetic resonance spectroscopy for structural studies. सही. उसके बाद digitalization of biology in today's world when a biologist performs an experiment in the wet lab, he or she in fact produces digital data which is continuously being stored on computer disk. The data may include text, numbers, symbols or images. The study of fundamental computation performed by biological processes from gene regulatory system to ecosystem and from neural networks to swarming systems. The increasing amount of data that are being acquired, stored and processed in the life sciences and health sector makes the development of new information technology one of the key factors for advancing the current state of knowledge in biomedical and health research. Okay. Speed of data growth. Due to advancement in instrumentation used in biological experiments, data is being accumulated at exponentially increasing rates. For example, genome sequences in genome databases are doubling every few years. Conclusion. Human brain is limited in recalling information from memory. First, we should commit all information to our memory, followed by its recall. To overcome our ability to memorize and recall, computers can come to our rescue. This is because computers have an infinite ability to recall this information and process it quickly towards results. सही हो गया, अच्छे समझ आ गया यहाँ तक. तो अब चलते हैं अपने बोनस पॉइंट की तरफ, जिससे हमें और ज़्यादा तौर पर समझ आ जाएगी. ठीक है, आई होप आप लोगों को भी समझ आ रही होगी. तो चलते हैं अपने पीपीटीज के पास और अब हम इसे पढ़ लेते हैं. तो बैकग्राउंड ऑफ बायोइन्फॉर्मेटिक्स. मॉडर्न बायोलॉजी. ह्यूमंस हैव ओवर 25,000 जीन्स. द जीन्स may produce 250,000 may produce greater than 250,000 different proteins. Each protein may further take up multiple modifications. सही हो गया. मॉडर्न बायोलॉजी में फिर मॉडर्न बायोलॉजी में हमारे पास है but then there are numerous organelles and intermediary molecules as well. The scales and speed of biomolecular interactions, reactions and transport is simply bewildering. Sorry. Experiments in biology, brisk in enhancements in instrumentation, next generation sequencers, high resolution mass spectrometer, nuclear magnetic resonance spectroscopy. Modern biological experiments produce digitalization of biology. Modern biological experiments produce data which is stored on computer. The data includes text, numbers, symbols and images. Speed of data growth. Data is being accumulated at an exponentially increasing rate. Genome sequences in genome databases are doubling every few years. इसकी example. Conclusion में humans are limited in recalling information from their memory, so we need the help of computers to store and recall this data. Okay. Computers can also quickly process this information and help in its manipulation. सही हो गया. डन हो गया जनाब. अब अपने अगले स्टेप की तरफ चलते हैं. इस टॉपिक का लास्ट स्टेप, स्टार्ट क्विज. द टर्म बायोइन्फॉर्मेटिक्स वाज फर्स्ट इंट्रोड्यूस्ड इन bioinformatics was first introduced in 1990s, I guess. Dash binds a specific amino acid with one region and recognizes a sequence of nucleotides with another region to translate the language of DNA into the language of proteins adapter molecule. चल लेते हैं आगे. The genes may produce more than 250,000 different proteins. Yes. So all are correct. Thanks Lord. तब चलते हैं आगे. अब अपने नेक्स्ट टॉपिक की तरफ चलते हैं. हमारा टॉपिक नंबर 26 इंट्रोडक्शन टू बायोइन्फॉर्मेटिक्स की वीडियो सुन लेते हैं अच्छे से.
Dear students, in this module I'm going to introduce bioinformatics to you. Bioinformatics is an interdisciplinary area. By interdisciplinary area, I mean that it is a science that is born out of combining biology, mathematics, chemistry, physics, and computer science. So all of these disciplines, they come together towards understanding biological systems and life in a better way. So therefore, bioinformatics is an interdisciplinary area. It is a new field and was just developed about 2 decades ago, but the impact that it has on the modern science is absolutely massive. That is why it is a rapidly growing area of science. This should be an inspiration to you, because in Pakistan, if you want to do cutting edge science, then you need a lot of resources. And since we are a limited resource country, it is very difficult for us to buy expensive scientific instruments and other associated equipments. But in the case of bioinformatics, all you need is your computer and a connection to the internet. So you have an interdisciplinary area for you, which helps you to do cutting edge science and does not require a lot of resources as well. Isn't it fantastic? More so, there are vast opportunities for scientific discovery using bioinformatics. Because there is so much of data which is not yet explored properly and has just come out of experiments, you can process this data further and advance the scientific frontier and make some very exciting discoveries as well. Towards understanding the scope of bioinformatics, you must realize that there are 4 important things that you should keep in mind. The first one is that once data is output from a biological experiment, you need to store it. Towards storing this data, it should be remembered that this data is not your typical everyday data. This data is huge. A single file can be in terabytes. How do you store such data? Because if you cannot store it, then obviously you cannot process it later. So the storage of data is a very important problem in bioinformatics. Secondly, so once you get this data and you store it on your disk, then you need to organize it properly. So once you are able to organize it, only then you are able to select certain portions of the data in which you are interested in for further analysis. Thirdly, the analysis itself. So once you have chosen the data of your choice in which you are interested, or you suspect something interesting in that data, then you want to analyze it. So towards analyzing it, you can borrow different techniques from statistics, from mathematics, towards modeling it, and several others. So the analysis part itself is very important as well. And lastly, once you get the analysis done, you have the results outcoming from the analysis, and you want to represent them in a meaningful way, in a way such that the data that you have just processed expresses its inner meaning clearly to the reader. So the activities in bioinformatics and the associated science, they are developing algorithms. So these algorithms can be for data storage, data retrieval, data processing, data visualization, anything. So one of the very important areas in bioinformatics is simply developing newer algorithms that are faster, more efficient towards achieving these 4 aims. The second part is to write software. So you can have very nice algorithms, but you need to express them into software. So towards writing software, you may want to use a programming language as well. For instance, C or C++. In the field of bioinformatics, Python, Perl, MATLAB, all of them can be used as well. So once you have written software, you want to organize your software in terms of a pipeline. So your pipeline can be: your data is input, it is processed, and it is output and represented visually. After you observe some results, you also need to statistically evaluate your findings towards ascertaining that your findings are substantial or significant. And lastly, data visualization using novel charts, drawings, and figures. So moving ahead, you need to learn the available bioinformatics tools and then advance them by developing newer algorithms. And lastly, you need to apply these ideas towards eliciting biology, towards eliciting the secrets of life. In conclusion, bioinformatics is well suited to all of us in Pakistan because it is a low resource demanding science and there is a lot of return on hard work in this area. And then you can have cutting edge deliveries and discoveries from these projects as well.
सो फ्रेंड्स, हमारी वीडियो हो गई है कंप्लीट और अब हम चलते हैं अपनी रीडिंग की तरफ. हमारी रीडिंग में यहाँ पर हम तकरीब डाउनलोड कर लेते हैं, फिर इसको पढ़ लेते हैं. बायोइन्फॉर्मेटिक्स इज एन interdisciplinary field mainly involving molecular biology and genetics, computer science, mathematics and statistics. Data-intensive, large-scale biological problems are addressed from a computational point of view. The most common problems are modeling biological processes at the molecular level and making inferences from collected data. ठीक हो गया. उसके बाद हमारे पास में मोटिवेशन में bioinformatics is becoming a popular science due to several reasons. It is an interdisciplinary field as it covers the information of biological, digital information including human, plants and animals and microorganisms. Although it is a new field, but it is rapidly developing field. It demands a very low cost infrastructure and hardly any lab equipment, as bioinformatics data concerns a wide range of species such as humans, plants and microorganisms. It presents us with plenty of opportunities in scientific discovery. ठीक हो गया. Scope of bioinformatics. Bioinformatics primarily deals with digitalized biological information as well as data reported from biology experiments. Computational methods, data processing techniques and algorithms are employed in addressing the following issues: storage of data, organization Bioinformatics is the application of computer technology to get the information that's stored in certain types of biological data, and bioinformatics provides central globally accessible databases that enable scientists to submit, search and analyze information. It offers analysis software for data studies and comparisons and provides tools for modeling, visualizing, exploring and interpreting data. The main goal is to convert a multitude of complex data into useful information and knowledge. Bioinformatics approaches are used to understand the function of genes, the regulation of cells, drug target selection, drug design and disease without quantitative analysis of the massive amounts of biological data generated by various systems. Biology and omics data cannot be interpreted or exploited. सही हो गया. उसके बाद activities in modern biological sciences, bioinformatics is useful for activities such as developing algorithms for organizing data collected from experiments, writing software and tools for data analysis, data processing to determine the role of underlying biomolecules, statistical evaluation of data using methods such as t-test and ANOVA, data visualization for meaningful representation of biological information. Conclusion में आ गए. In Pakistan, the field of biology is undergoing a rapid change. Due to the onset of bioinformatics, new research and educational programs are being conducted, which is opening new door of opportunities for our future generations. सही हो गया जनाब. अब हम चलते हैं हमारी PPTs की तरफ, और उसमें हमारे पास है इंट्रोडक्शन टू बायोइन्फॉर्मेटिक्स. इसमें है एन इंटरडिसिप्लिनरी, मोटिवेशन में इंटरडिसिप्लिनरी फील्ड, न्यू बट रैपिडली डेवलपिंग फील्ड, लो रिक्वायरमेंट ऑफ इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर एंड रिसर्च इक्विपमेंट और वेस्ट अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ फॉर साइंटिफिक डिस्कवरी. ठीक है. स्कोप ऑफ बायोइन्फॉर्मेटिक्स यूज द कंप्यूटेशनल एल्गोरिथम्स एंड टेक्निक्स फॉर स्टोरेज, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, एनालिसिस एंड रिप्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ बायोलॉजिकल इन्फॉर्मेशन. ठीक हो गया. उसके बाद एक्टिविटीज़ में डेवलपिंग एल्गोरिथम्स, राइटिंग सॉफ्टवेयर, डाटा प्रोसेसिंग पाइपलाइंस, स्टैटिस्टिकल evaluation of data visualization. उसके बाद मूविंग अहेड, learn the available bioinformatics concept, algorithms and tools, advance these concepts by developing novel ideas, apply these ideas to forward the understanding of biology and life. सही है क्या. उसके बाद कंक्लूजन, द बेनिफिट्स ऑफ studying bioinformatics in Pakistan, new degree program in several universities, opportunity for cutting edge discoveries in a resource limited setting. Okay. अब हो गया है ये टॉपिक एकदम क्लियर. सो हम चलते हैं अपने पोस्ट असेसमेंट की तरफ. अब यहाँ पर क्विज ले लेते हैं हम लोग. क्विज यहाँ पर लेते हैं तो हमारे पास बायोइन्फॉर्मेटिक्स अप्रोचेस आर यूज टू अंडरस्टैंड द इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी सॉफ्टवेयर डिज़ाइनिंग. ठीक है. बायोइन्फॉर्मेटिक्स अप्रोचेस आर यूज टू अंडरस्टैंड द इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी सॉफ्टवेयर डिज़ाइनिंग. नहीं, ये फॉल्स है. आगे चलेंगे. एनालाइजिंग और कंपेयरिंग एंटायर जीनोम ऑफ स्पीशीज, उसको क्या कहते हैं? जीनोमिक्स, प्रोटियोमिक्स, बायोइन्फॉर्मेटिक्स. ये बायोइन्फॉर्मेटिक्स हो सकता है. डैश इज यूज्ड फॉर स्टोरेज, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, एनालिसिस एंड रिप्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ बायोलॉजिकल इंफॉर्मेशन. तो हमारा ये वाला क्वेश्चन बनता है. बाकी दोनों बिल्कुल ठीक है. सो दैट इज़ अ गुड थिंग. चलते हैं हम आगे अपने इस वीडियो के लास्ट टॉपिक को 27, टॉपिक नंबर 27 पर. इसकी वीडियो अच्छे से सुन लेते हैं.
Dear students, in this module, I'm going to highlight the need for bioinformatics for you. We'll be covering the need for bioinformatics in 2 modules, and this is the first one in the series. To motivate you towards the need for bioinformatics, You know that it is an interdisciplinary area, and people from biology, physics, chemistry, mathematics, and computer science, all of them are coming together towards performing this science. It is such an exciting area that lots of new discoveries are made every day, and it is a wonderful opportunity for all of us as well. The low requirement on part of bioinformatics for infrastructure, for instruments, enables us to utilize bioinformatics towards advancing our own science and understand life. So this is a very interesting, feasible and useful area for the people in Pakistan. Next is that the vast discoveries that are made from bioinformatics have the potential to change the landscape of the science. This is indeed a very valuable opportunity for all of us. The foundation for bioinformatics is on the large amount of data that is available now on the internet, and you can download it and process it to understand that data better. Towards understanding the amounts of data involved, if you look at this figure, you will realize the exponential nature of the increase of this data. Specifically, this graph is showing you the growth of the entries in UniProt database, which is simply a protein sequence database, or you can call it the number of proteins that are known, the sequences, versus the years on the horizontal axis. As you can see, there is an exponential rise in this data, and this sequence information can be used as input for bioinformatics tools towards understanding biology in a better way. Another example is the growth of protein databases. As shown here in this graph, the blue bars, they represent the number of sequences, the protein sequences. Of course, they are in millions, but if you look at the red bars, these are the protein structures. So the protein sequences and the protein structures, both of them are growing at a very rapid pace. We need to utilize this data and understand how these proteins, they function within a cell. This is the job of a bioinformatician, and therefore we have a very nice opportunity with us. More so, if you look carefully, the number of structures, the protein structures that is shown here in orange, is actually different from the number of sequences. So there is a very big difference between the number of protein sequences that are known and the number of protein structures that are known. So using bioinformatics, we can also close this gap and try to find out the structures from the protein sequences. This is another job for the bioinformatician. So in conclusion, since the genomic, metabolomic, proteomic information is available now, it is the job of a bioinformatician, and there is a need for the bioinformatician to come forward, look at this data, and try to fill in the empty voids within our understanding of the biological systems. If you carefully search this data online and then download it, followed by processing it, you have a chance to turn it into a gold mine.
सो फ्रेंड्स, हमारा ये टॉपिक हो गया है कंप्लीट। आई मीन इसकी वीडियो हो गई है कंप्लीट। हम चलते हैं अपनी रीडिंग की तरफ, जहाँ पर हम लोग अपनी रीडिंग करेंगे। पीपीटी से कर लेते डाउनलोड। और नीड फॉर बायोइन्फॉर्मेटिक्स-I, our body is made up of trillions of cells according to Human Genome Project. The number of genes in each cell is approximately 20,000. This microscopic cell has an ultra microscopic commanding center called nucleus, in which DNA is packed. The number of nucleotides is approximately equal to 3 into 10 to the power 9. Think of that much enormous data in a cell. How could we this access this data? How could we access this data? ठीक है, analyze this data. ठीक है, here comes the use of computers. We developed and use computers for the same purpose: efficient data storage, retrieval and analysis. With the advancement in sequencing technology, each day thousands of nucleotides of different organisms are sequenced and submitted to the databases worldwide. In bioinformatics, the use of computer is same as previously, but the data is biological data, the letters of life. Actually, we are now facing an information loads of sequence data, but the real challenge is to make sense of this data. Okay, so next is listed are some of the major needs of bioinformatics: to store and retrieve biological data, to analyze the biological data like sequence patterns. सही है। उसके बाद to interpret biological data, to predict 3D structures of biomolecules, to construct evolutionary trees that help us to find ancestry of different organisms. ठीक है, उसके बाद हमारे पास में if we look at the pace of development in bioinformatics, then we can easily observe that from years 2000 to 2015, the number of online tools for processing genomics and proteomics information are rapidly increasing. This is just a reflection of the need for bioinformatics in modern day biology. ठीक है, the field of bioinformatics and computational biology is characterized by a highly diverse confluence of traditional academic disciplines. Informatics and bioscience are the umbrella terms given to a set of allied disciplines which make up the field, but a much larger array of traditional areas contributes to the set of tools needed by individuals training for this new and expanding interdisciplinary field. Biomedical engineering, electrical and computer engineering, computer science, applied mathematics, genetics, biology, anatomy and cell biology, microbiology and biostatistics are the principal allied disciplines. ठीक है, उसके बाद हमारे पास में आता है कंक्लूजन. द नीड फॉर बायोइन्फॉर्मेटिक्स इज ऑन अ रैपिड राइज एज बायोलॉजिकल डाटा इज rapidly increasing and by becoming available online free of any cost. ठीक है, उसके बाद हमारे पास में आ जाएंगी हमारी पीपीटीज, वो हम पढ़ लेते हैं. नीड फॉर बायोइन्फॉर्मेटिक्स-I, ठीक है, मोटिवेशन एंड interdisciplinary field, new but rapidly developing field, low requirements on infrastructure and research equipment, vast opportunities for scientific discovery. ठीक होगा. उसके बाद ये सारे ग्राफ्स हैं, मैंने बताया था वीडियो में. कंक्लूजन, सिंस जीनोम एंड प्रोटियोम information is publicly available, you can process this information after downloading it. If you carefully search this online data with a little bit of biology background, it is a gold mine. So जनाब, ये टॉपिक बहुत हद तक समझ में आ चुका है. आई होप आप लोगों को भी समझ में आया होगा. अब हम चल लेते हैं आगे. डैश इज यूज फॉर स्टोरेज, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, एनालिसिस एंड रिप्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ बायोलॉजिकल इंफॉर्मेशन. ये मेरा सही हुआ था, एल्गोरिथम्स मैंने लगाया है और इसको नेक्स्ट कर लेते हैं। The process of finding relative location of genes on chromosomes is called chromosome tracing, genome mapping, genome walking, chromosome mapping. जीन ट्रेसिंग आई थिंक, ठीक है। उसके बाद चल लेते हैं एनालाइजिंग और कंपेयरिंग एंटायर जीनोम ऑफ स्पीशीज इज कॉल्ड, इसको कहें बायोइन्फॉर्मेटिक्स नहीं कहेंगे, इसे जीनोमिक्स कह लेते हैं इसे। तो हमारा ये दोनों हो गए सही। द प्रोसेस ऑफ फाइंडिंग रिलेटिव लोकेशन ऑफ जीन्स, अच्छा अब ये गलत हो गया, कोई बात है, हम लोग इसको भी सही कर लेंगे इंशाल्लाह। ये हो गया क्रॉस। अब हमारा 27 टॉपिक्स इस वीडियो में हो गए हैं कंप्लीट, ठीक है। तो अगले 28 टॉपिक से हम लोग स्टार्ट करेंगे, अगली वीडियो से स्टार्ट करेंगे 28 टॉपिक से, ठीक है। सो आई होप आप लोग को समझ आई होगी, मुझे भी काफ़ी कुछ समझ आ गया। तो फिर ठीक है, फिर आप मुझे इजाज़त दें। थैंक यू सो मच।